Good evening, race fans, and welcome back. It is time for round 4 of the Alliance Sim Racing Gard Supercar Championship, and tonight we come to you from none other than Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in, of course, Bowmanville, Canada. And we are past the opening phase of this season now, and tonight is starting to mark a bit of a point in this championship where we start to see the impacts of some of those early results that we have seen so far in Season 7. Every result from here on, though, starts to carry just that little bit more weight as the drivers start to look at which round is going to be their drop round come end of this season. Some of the drivers are riding high on a fair bit of confidence from some strong results. Others probably searching for, I don't know, something a little better this time around. No one can afford to leave points on the table tonight, though, because we are very rapidly approaching the halfway point of this season. Welcome to Simple Racing Broadcast. If this is your first time here, it's great to have you along. If you're coming back, it's wonderful to have you back with us. My name is Jared Cole, and in the booth with me tonight, once again, my good friend Isaac Fogarty. Isaac, welcome on in.
Good evening, Jared. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me here. I'm really looking forward to this very narrow circuit tonight. Canadian Tire, and after what feels like it's been a long week. That's because we didn't have MC Motorsport last night. This is the first time I've been back in the commentary booth with yourself for over a week now, so looking forward to tonight's 2 races. And it's been a really exciting season with ASR so far, hasn't it? We've had so much action in every single race, and I'm hoping that that's going to be the case again tonight.
Yeah, I would hope so. It'll be an interesting one. We haven't been to Mosport with the ASR crew since May last year, when Wayne Walker really dominated the standings here and came away with a pretty strong set of results from the round, as did Scott Gamble, who's not racing this season. But David Coleman, Stephen Varga, a couple of other names in amongst it as well. So it will be an interesting one to see just how the lap times have improved, hopefully, since last time we were here. I can tell you that Wayne Walker just barely dipped into the 118 during the races last time around, which were the same as tonight. It's a 15-lap sprint to open and a 35-lap second race. Reverse top 5 is in place tonight. 2 compulsory pit stops in that second race will test the driver's strategy. I don't know if we'll see much in the way of safety cars tonight. Mosport has plenty of runoff, but there's a couple of sections that might prove challenging if we do see cars come together. Qualifying going on at the moment. Let's take a hot lap with the Gard Mustang, and Josh Harris, as always, behind the wheel as we take a hot lap around Mosport.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to round 4, season 7 of Alliance Sim Racing. Tonight, we're at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, a track that feels like it should be a Supercar's homeland event. It's really undulating. There's lots and lots of consequence, and there's a couple of really fantastic corners. This one here at turn 2 is one of them. It's the first of 2 blind corners on this track. Fork here, 150 k's an hour over the crest, and we're just waiting for the car to settle before we head around to this long right hand up, hard on the throttle on the way out. And our second blind corner, 5th gear, over 200 k's an hour over the crest, absolutely unable to see what's coming up for us, and into the only tight corner on the whole track. These 2 double rights all the way down to 2nd gear, and now this huge, big, long back straight. Lots of undulation here. This is a fantastic track. There is just no room for error, but there's also no room for anyone to take a breath. All the way up 265 kilometres an hour, hard on the brakes now. Only back to fourth gear for this long right-hand corner that just never seems to stop. Down another gear and into the final complex. Another really tough corner to finish off the lap, making sure that we don't slide out and get any of the grass. That's it. That's all there is to it here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It happens very, very quickly. It's going to be absolute chaos with a full field of Gen 3 V8 supercars. Thank you for jumping on board the Solar Gard Gen 3 Ford Mustang. I hope you enjoyed the ride. We will catch up again next week.
Well, that is Mosport, ladies and gents. Josh Harrison is always doing a fantastic job of not only managing to keep it on track while he records these laps, but also letting us know just what it's like behind the wheel of a Gen 3 supercar. This is not a track that's built for supercars, really, is it, Isaac? It's a lot of flowing corners and quite a bit of transitioning through S's and some really heavy loading on some of these corners. And supercar tyres, we know, don't love that. It's also going to create some interesting opportunities for overtaking, but perhaps not as many as some of these drivers would like to see.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a tricky circuit. And I'm just watching that lap there. I'm just trying to process where exactly we're going to see some overtaking tonight around this track. Because again, as you said, not really a place where supercars, surprisingly, supercars with low aero do not like fast flowy corners. Who would have thought it? Probably, if you're looking, probably the last corner is going to be a key spot for overtaking. Maybe down off the back. It's not really a straight, it's a bit of a curved line down towards that last few corners. Could be a key spot for overtaking as well. It's going to be really wherever you can find it, I think, tonight, and try and maximize your runs through the fast flowing sections, and the drivers that can do that the best, I think, will find themselves in a strong position.
Yeah, I'm honestly short of Moss Corner. Obviously, the 290-degree right-hand is about halfway into this lap is where you're looking, folks. Moss Corner is probably one of the best opportunities, although there's not much in the way of an overtaking line there. I'm expecting to see a lot of door banging tonight. I think there'll be a lot of drivers who are going to find their way past purely by barging through, and that's a supercar way after all, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There's no other way to do it in supercars. I think the only one that's worse for it is NASCAR, and that's because it is full gloves off there. So I'm looking forward tonight at Mosport to see how these drivers go, because, again, as you said, it will be gloves off, and everyone's going to have to battle over the track if they want to try and make some gains. So elbows will well and truly be out this evening. And looking at the qualifying times, it's pretty quick out there.
Yeah, it will be. Let's take a quick look at the championship standings on the way into this round tonight. Wayne Walker maintains his number one spot and on track to hold on to that number one on the side of the car for now, but Blake Warble is not far behind, 37 points the difference, and less than 30 points behind him is Jason Benz from Quantum Racing as well. So Mark Poynton's still in it as well, 8 points separating them. The top four really all still in this battle. A bit of a two-person battle going on with Ryan Palmer and Matt Vanderkraan now for 5th and 6th. They find themselves a little isolated at the moment, but of course all of this changes as the season progresses and drop rounds change around and we get better results or worse results. It all depends on the week, really. Andrew Listener really enjoying being up in front of the Cup Trophy standings at the moment. 554 points in P9 overall, but a significant gap back to Nick Geary in 13th, 538 points. It doesn't sound like that much, but it's congested midfield, and that's going to prove really, really interesting as the rest of the season rolls on, I'm sure. Ryan Palmer just jumping in to let us know that his qualifying not going so well at the moment, sitting in P27 for qualifying. So look out for that ADHD car trying its best to make its way through, and I guess Ryan's going to have to show us exactly where the overtakes are to be had on this track.
Yeah, well, if anyone can get an overtake, it's certainly Ryan Palmer, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do out there tonight. He's got a few spots to make up in this grid and got his work cut out for him indeed. I'm noticing there's a couple big drivers a little bit further down the order. Ryan Palmer definitely one of those drivers tonight that's going to have their work cut out for him. So really looking forward to seeing what he can do from towards the back of the field. Not to put some spoilers out there, but yeah, towards the back of the field, unfortunately. But it looks like business as usual for some of our bigger drivers at the front.
Well, let's get ready to go racing. We've got a 15-lap sprint coming up for race number 1, and I suspect it'll be over in the blink of an eye. This is how your grid looks for race number 1. Wayne Walker and Matt Vanderkraan will be taking the front row. Walker just a little off his top race time from last time they were here in May, so expecting some fast laps there, I'm sure. Row 2 will be Chad Vigar and Dean Logsdale, then Jason Bentz and Jamie Dyke, with Troy Stonestreet and Andrew Rushworth in row 4. Jason Douglas and Stephen Varga rounding out your top 10. Mark Poynton and Luke Orman line up ahead of Mick Clifton and Craig Schulz, and Jim Caparonis and Andrew Hoffman as the top-placed Cup Trophy driver. Jamie McKnight and Lon McKee on row 9, then Rick Varga and Ernie Toth behind them. Andrew Lister and Damon Fisher line up ahead of Scott Perrins and Abel Verba, and then Nick Geary, almost said Garriosh, Nick Geary and Jane Hardy alongside each other, with Ryan Palmer and Brad Hayes just ahead of Vince Salvatore and Troy Sipple rounding out your 30. Jason Dunn and Glenn Boyce ahead of Ash Hall and David Logsdale, then Mick Rudd and Ken Latta, with Trav Daly not setting a time, neither did Craig Rose. Tim Nicol, of course, behind the Chubby Buns safety car steering wheel tonight. And hopefully we're not going to need him, but anyone's guess at this point, I think. I'm never quite sure what to expect when we come to Mosport.
Yeah, I think I was mentioning this to you earlier, Jared. I haven't been to this track. I haven't commentated. I haven't seen any racing action at this track before in this game, especially in supercars. So looking forward to using tonight as a bit of a learning experience. Obviously, yourself and these boys have been here 1 or 2 times before in these cars. Obviously, ASR came here, as you said, last year. So I'm looking forward to getting the full Mosport experience tonight with what these drivers are going to put on, and looking forward to my essentially. I'm trying to work out what you'd call it. I can't think of the word right now. It's decided to escape me. But my introduction to supercars at Mosport.
Your initiation? I don't know.
That's the word I was looking for. That is the word I was looking for.
Look at that! I am on fire tonight, gents. This is going to be an interesting one. I have no doubt. We've got a few drivers already on the grid, and with just about 30-40 seconds to go before we do go racing, let's head on down and take a look and see how this is going to look. And Ryan Palmer checking in from the back of the field, which is indeed all the way back around the final bend. So he'll be struggling to see the flag from back there. Clear blue skies, a reasonably warm track, 33-degree track temp throughout the qualifying session. So it could be worse, could be better. I don't know. We'll see how it feels for these drivers, I suppose, as we await now the last of the cars jumping on the grid, just waiting on Jamie Dyke in P6. We've got a couple of few drivers actually that will be starting from pit lane due to license point accumulation. So Ken Latta, Trav Daly and Craig Rose all have a pit lane start for this race. So you'll see those 3 pop up in a moment on your pit lane readout as they look to start from behind the grid, essentially. Lights come up. We are under starters orders as we wait for the lights. And away we go. Wayne Walker and Matt Vanderkraan lead us off, and you can see already a huge spin of the wheels there from one of the top 10 who has had an amazing start as we come down through turn 1 for the first time, and we start to negotiate Mosport's curves and crests, really. A big slide there as they come up and over that crest. It's unweighting the car already. The field already starting to settle this racing line very, very quickly. Gets into a single line here because there's not a lot of opportunity anywhere else to run side by side on this track. You can see already some of the drivers that have found themselves outside of that racing line really struggling to find any sort of grip. But look at the drive that we're seeing. We're already seeing a few of these cars going side by side as they come through Moss Corner for the first time. And so far, not a huge deal of movement. A couple of the Chubby Buns cars alongside each other. The Southern Cross Racing entries, a little bit of contact there. We've got cars around. That's the teammates have come together. Andrew Hoffman, and if I'm not mistaken, is Jay McKnight caught up in that as well?
It does look like he is, yes. So it looks like McKnight's got caught up in that. Glenn Boyd, Scott Perrins as well. So I was going to say Glenn Boyd, Scott Perrins, Vince Salvatore, and Andrew Hoffman. So that was look, it looked a bit messy as they came into that right-hander. They were side by side, and then I can't remember who was quite on the inside. It was a bit hard to tell. The cars looked very similar, being both Chubby Buns cars. We've got more overtakes going on here on our screen at the moment, but they just got alongside each other, tried to squeeze for room, and it's ended in tears for multiple drivers in that situation. Everyone trying to scramble to get out of the way to avoid contact as well, because they stopped in a really awkward spot. It was on the racing line on the exit of the corner, so everyone's done a really good job to avoid collecting each other there.
Yeah, it's not what anyone, I'm sure, had in mind for the start of their race. We look now at Stone Street sitting in P6, one of the few drivers inside the top 12 that's made any progress. Stone Street's up 1, Jason Douglas behind him is up 2 spots, and Jason Bentz, Quantum Racing entry, in 4th at the moment is up 1. Everyone else, more or less, sitting where they have. Dean Logsdale's lost a spot, Jamie Dykes lost a couple, and Andrew Rushworth has lost 1, but the top 12 are pretty well into this line already. It's going to be a really tough one to get any passing done, I'm sure, but there's going to be some opportunities, and we'll take a look at a few of the drivers that are looking for those opportunities right now. Abel Verban, back in 22nd, is all over the back of Nick Geary, and Brad Hayes just ahead, also feeling the pressure. So these three locked in to an early battle as we are on to lap 3 already. I'm not quite sure where those first couple of laps went, but plenty going on as we see a big slide there. Jason Dunn manages to keep it out of the walls somehow. He's going to lose a few spots though as a result. Ryan Palmer is redressing there, so I think there must have been a bit of contact that's set that off. Back up front, Chad Vigar is under all sorts of pressure as Jason Bentz looks to move up into the podium spots. Bentz just a 10th off the back here, and Vigar's going to have his work cut out for it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard work for Vigar to defend this position. Obviously, it's super difficult to get the overtake done around here. So Vigar in probably the position you'd prefer to be in this situation. A little bit of a touch up there from Jason Bentz. He's carrying more speed through the corners at the moment. Look at them all sitting in the slipstream, and now Dean Logsdale thinks about going for an overtake. We've got him. Is he going to be alongside? He is down towards the back straight. This is going to be on the outside now as they run towards. I haven't got the corner numbers or names down yet, but Jason Bentz does hold on for now, and that was just compromised. He had a little bit of a touch up with the rear bar of Chad Vigar, which caused him to lose the momentum he had mid-corner, and that opened the door for Dean Logsdale. So Jason Bentz has to be ready here, Jared, because even though he's trying to get past Chad Vigar, any little slip-up or check-up that Chad might give him is going to leave him vulnerable to behind.
It absolutely is. This front group really starting to stack up. Behind them, Jamie Dyke is at the back of that pack. At the front of this one, Andrew Rushworth, really a bit of a cork in the bottle. He's got Stephen Varga, Mark Point, Luke Orman right there with him as they gather up and look for opportunity. You can see the little packs forming, and this is one of the difficulties we were going to see here tonight at Mosport, is trying to find an opportunity to overtake. Hope you're all enjoying this in chat. Welcome on in by quote. Black and grey numbers, Pro-Am, absolutely spot on. Your black boxes are your overall competitors, your pro drivers, let's call them. Your silver boxes are the Cup Trophy drivers as well. So competing for overall points, but also for the Cup Trophy for some of the less accomplished drivers in the field, and that's not something that I say lightly at all, because and I can tell you from experience, even the slowest of the drivers on track here tonight well outpaced me.
Something's happened to Jim Capronis. I've just noticed he's dropping a whole bunch of positions, and he's facing the wrong way, so that'll do it. He has spun, and that is super unfortunate. I just noticed he was losing so many places on the timing screen, and I'm not quite sure what happened. I think we'll try and get a look at that at some point, I'm sure, Jared, but super disappointing for him. He was trying to fight back. He obviously had that earlier contact with these Chubby Buns teammate. Here we go. We'll get a replay. The Chubby Buns replay. What happened to the Chubby Buns car? Looks like he got a helping hand here. He certainly did, from one of the Fishy Motorsport cars. And that's heavy side contact with wall, isn't it?
It absolutely is. The Chubby Buns replay picks that up beautifully as we see a fair bit still going on at the front of this pack. It's a very, very tight battle. Chad Vigar somehow still holding on from Bentz. And Dean Logsdale right there looking for an opportunity. Ben's runs just a little bit wide, trying to open the second part of Moss Corner up before they head out onto Andretti Straight. And this is where the run is really on. These guys need to have a huge amount of power down out of Moss Corner to try and affect something at the other end of this straight. It goes through the S's, but if you get alongside, that's your best chance to make a pass before you do get back onto the main, onto the home straight. And you can see Betts taking a look up the inside, almost sneaks through. Vigar closes the door at the last second, and it's going to continue for another lap for this group. You'd have to think that a few of the drivers in behind Vigar right now are feeling a little frustrated because they can't get past, but they also probably feel like they're dropping off a little bit. As you can see, Wayne Walker out in front by almost 2.5 seconds over Matt Vandergrunt.
Yeah, he's just sort of starting to walk away. These front two really are starting to walk away from this group behind. It just shows how well of a job Chad Vigar is doing, obviously for his teammate, just trying to, I don't know if he's necessarily trying to hold up the cars behind, but he certainly is not making it easy for them to get past as to help out his teammate. But Matt Vanderkruijm got another replay here. This is
Troy Sipple.
It was a Troy Sipple.
Is there there's a bit of a helping hand. Ryan Palmer,
a bit of help.
is the destroyer tonight. That's the second car
heavy contact
that he's punted off the track this evening, and not intentionally, of course, but it's not been a great run for him so far. He's proving himself a little dangerous, and I don't think it's necessarily from being reckless or anything. He's just got the foot down so hard, trying to make his way through the pack.
Yeah, I don't think it's intentional from Ryan Palmer at all to just sort of shove everybody out of the way, but I think he's probably trying to, I wouldn't say necessarily to take desperation, but just a little bit eager to try and get through the pack, maybe a little bit less patience than we would normally see. It's hard to overtake around here, so you've got to try and take any opportunity that is presented to you. And yeah, Ryan Palmer, he's not really, he's moved 3 spots forward from where he qualified, so it's not a huge gain for him at the moment in all seriousness, and he'll probably cop a penalty for that contact with Troy Sipple. So it's not really going the way of Ryan Palmer this evening. That qualifying not going away, but it also goes to show, and I think we talk about this relatively often, Jared, about how important qualifying is, because if you don't maximise your qualifying, you get sent down the pack and you have to fight your way through the field. At tracks like this, it really can bring your entire race meeting undone.
Absolutely can. Luke Allman, unable to make any progress at home, but sitting comfortably in 12th. He missed last week, if I'm not mistaken, so he'll be happy to be back behind the wheel this evening. You can see him settling on into the rig there as they start to head to the high 200s of k's an hour down this straight. It's a long one. You've got plenty of time. It is probably only the fact that it's virtually all uphill that stops them from really capping out the speeds, but 270k an hour by the time you get on the brakes at the other end and start to negotiate the S's here. It's a very, very good opportunity to make a pass, but you've got to have such a good drive out of Moss Corner to actually make it happen. And Luke Allman not quite getting anything that time around, but won't be the last opportunity. We might go back, and I know we're going back about half the race here, but I do want to go back and have a look at what happened to Andrew Hoffman on that opening lap and just see where this contact actually came in. And indeed, okay, there you go. So Hoffman's actually overcooked it and gone into Caperonis there. And look at Ryan Palmer dive up the inside those tyre tracks just to the right from Ryan Palmer, just missing the Southern Cross Racing entry. So not a bad bit of avoiding action. It's incident between car 69 and 51 on lap number 1, attracting the 5-second penalty. That is Andrew Hoffman and Jim Caperonis. So takes out the teammate and gets himself a 5-second penalty. Not the ideal start to his race this evening. Luke Allman is on a run here. Might actually have Andrew Rushworth. He's got the pace. He's got nothing inside. Nose is just in front. It's going to be a right-hander next. Can Allman actually hold on to this? He's got to be late on the brakes. And that actually sends Rushworth very wide. Very, very wide for Andrew Rushworth. He could not get that car pulled up, found himself out on the marbles, and he's actually ended up losing 3 spots in one hit. Drops all the way off the back of that pack. He'll be absolutely ropeable with himself for that one.
Yeah, that is quite rough, and we will not be happy at all. He it's a difficult circuit, especially if you make a mistake. If you get caught out wide at any point, it's so easy to lose multiple positions, to come undone, come unstuck super easily, and he will be kicking himself, but it's an easy mistake to make. This is a very difficult circuit, and hopefully he'll have an opportunity as this race goes on to try and bounce back. But again, hard to push through the pack here, hard to make up places, and everything you work so hard for, you have to fight for every single position. You have to work twice as hard as you would at most other tracks, and that's why you can understand if drivers being so much more frustrated when they make a mistake like that, because they work so hard to move through this field, and then it's so easy to just have one little mistake to bring it all undone.
And a penalty now to Jim Caparone's car 69 for an incident on lap 1. So race control starting to get a chance to have a look back through these. That's
from Jamie McKnight.
Jamie McKnight, yeah, which is not super surprising given the nature of that one. But there'll be a few of those little penalties starting to roll through now, I would expect, as we keep our eyes on Nick Geary and Glenn Boyce, who have been battling it out for a little while here, back in 24th, two Cup Trophy drivers. Just neck and neck and can't be separated at the moment. Behind them, Ash Hall and Jason Dunn side by side as they make their way into the S's. Dunn decides to back out of it for the moment, but he'll be looking to, I guess, avenge himself a little bit for the opening. A drive-through penalty there being issued to car number 224 for that lap 1 contact. That's Vince Salvatore. So there was plenty going on lap 1, just bits and pieces here and there, and probably the difference, I suppose, will be the redress versus not eventually.
Yeah, that's what you gotta weigh up in this situation as well. Do you redress and take the pain in that situation, then have to work your way back to the field, or do you just stick it out, hope that it's not a black flag and it's just a time penalty that is served, or even if it is a black flag, you can make up enough time that you can negate any major disadvantage you would have from serving that penalty. Obviously, the penalty is given to try and even out that result of that contact, and probably not 100% of the time. You wouldn't give if you give a 5-second penalty, 7 seconds the car ahead, she was not going to say, well, we're going to give you 7 seconds so you drop behind that car. It's everything's sort of judged on its merits, but in the most case, they try and make it as fair as possible to even out the penalty based on the severity of the incident. So that's what you have to weigh up in this situation as a driver. You get caught up in an incident. We've got one up the inside now. This is a battle. Makes the move up the side.
Through on Dean Longsdale.
He's done well, hasn't he, to get past through there. Very tricky section of circuit, I would suggest, to get an overtake done as they run up towards, this is turn 5 and 6 now, to then through 7 onto the back straight. So he's done really well there to make that stick, and now might fancy himself a look at the back of Jason Benz.
Yeah, you'd think so. Stone Street really pushing through, and that's what we expected. We were 100% expecting to see some contact that was going to come into play there. Just a bit of door barging, perhaps, to make it happen. And so yeah, we've already started to see just how that's going to come into play here tonight. And this is the sprint race, right? These guys have got to get the moves done early. We've only got a few laps remaining in this opening hit out.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does, and we still haven't seen a huge amount of movement through most of the field. A lot of these drivers are really struggling to find anywhere to get the passes done. It's mostly come from mistakes from other drivers. One of the exceptions, I will point out, Ken Latta, we mentioned earlier, had that pit lane start in race number 1, and he's done well. He's up 15 spots. He's up 15 places.
Spots. Biggest mover in this race. Second biggest mover is Travis Daly. He's just overtaken Ashley Hall to move up 11 spots. And that's why he's overtaken Ashley Hall, because that is him stopped on the front straight facing perpendicular to the racetrack, which is obviously not the direction you want to be facing in if you're trying to get a quick lap time in, or a lap time in at any point. So not ideal for Ashley Hall. We'll have to try and get the bottom of that, but we've got this battle going on. Defensive Jason Bentz there from Troy Stone Street, trying to hold on to this 4th position. It looked like at one stage he was really putting the pressure on Chad Weiger, but it seems now that the tables have turned and Troy Stonestreet is now the one that's applying the pressure to Jason Bence. Remember, look at this pack. Look how close all these drivers are. Anyone makes a mistake, goes for a move here that doesn't quite stick, there's a car behind them ready to pounce, ready for that overtake. So there's no room for error here for any of these 5 drivers.
No, absolutely not. And you can see just how tight this battle actually is. These guys haven't shifted at all. Stonestreet's move on Logsdale's the first change. As we see, Stonestreet gets past Bence. So he's managed to find just a moment there for Bence. And Logsdale goes through as well. So Jason Bence has just had a bit of a moment. He's off the racing line, and that's all it's taken to allow both those guys through. So Bence was looking to potentially challenge for the podium, now finds himself back into 6th. And critically, that also puts him outside of the reverse top 5 for race number 2.
Yeah, and that's something that he'll be kicking himself for a little bit, I'm sure. He'll want to try and get past Logsdale before the end of this race, but it seems he's struggling a little bit at the back end. Look, it's not a huge gap that he's pulled, but Dean Logsdale has pulled a slight gap. It's now out over a second to Jason Bence, and Jamie Dyke is, well, not out over a second, but it's starting to grow, and Jamie Dyke has closed right up to the back of him now. This is a battle with Andrew Rushworth, Lorne McKee. This is for 14th spot on the road. There's a couple of little battles. You look at your timing tower there, and the I can't quite tell the colour, but I believe it's orange/red number. It means that within half a second, and they are trying to close in here. Andrew Rushworth on a solid finish. He's up. Where is he? He's actually down 7 spots in this race, so looking to maybe damage limitation. Good recovery. Damage limitation, I guess. Lorne McKee's up 4 spots in leading that Trophy Am class, so he's actually doing a wonderful job inside the top 15 to lead that class at the moment. He's performed really well. This is Ken Latta hoping to get a couple more spots before this race is over to continue his push forward after starting in the pit lane. He's right on the back of Abel Verban and James Hardy as well as part of this group. Ernie Toth a little bit further up the road, but there's a couple spots here that I think Ken Latta, inside these next 2 laps, will fancy himself a look into.
Yeah, he's not going to have a whole lot of time though, and that's going to be the challenge. There's only a couple of opportunities, as we see in the background. I think that might have been one of the lapped quantum cars just running a little bit wide there. But he's really going to struggle to find an opportunity here as Lorne McKee gets out of the way and allows his teammate Andrew Rushworth through. McKee will now provide a little bit of cover from Rick Weiger behind in P16. But this is effectively just behind Rushworth. Lorne McKee and Rick Weiger battling it out for the top of the Cup Trophy at the moment. Wayne Walker, to give him his due, has continued his form from last year when they came to Mosport. He is out in front by 6.5 seconds in 15 laps. That is absolutely phenomenal, and barring something pretty significant, it's we've got a big incident. 2 of the quantum cars sideways. Jason Bence, I think, is one of those. The other, Chad Weiger, got caught up in that. Dean Logsdale's been caught up somewhere as well. He's run way off the track. I don't know what's happened there. That's a massive incident, and Logsdale is really struggling.
That is absolutely huge. It's given Troy Stonestreet the podium, but it's leaving a massive question mark over what has happened for that to occur. So we've got the white flag. We're on the final lap of the race. Here we go. Chubby Buns replay is going to offer us some insight, and this is Chad Weiger that we're focused on. Oh, it's a lapped car. It's a lapped car that has gotten in the way. That is a huge incident with Chad Weiger, and I would have to hazard a guess that it's continued further down the road with Troy Stonestreet, and then Wayne Walker's going to cross the line. We've come back at the wrong time, so Wayne Walker crossed the line for a very dominant victory from Matt Vanderkraan, 7 seconds behind. Then Troy Stonestreet will get on the podium after a very dramatic final 2 laps. Jamie Dyke, Jason Douglas will have the pole in the second race tonight with the reverse top 5. Stephen Vargamar, Point, Luke Ullman, Schulz and Clifton will round out your top 10. Lorne McKee will take out the Trophy M class in 12th place from Rick Weiger and listener Ernie Toth as well, up there inside the top 15. That's a very action-packed end of the race. This is another replay. So this is a further explaining what's happened here, Jared Cole. So they've gone off back onto the circuit.
But
and
Bence's
into the side of
off,
Longdale.
I think there. and Logsdale tries to get it running and just ends up back in the fence.
Is that Benz or is that another?
I think it's Mick Rudd. That's Mick Rudd as lap car. Has got the grass. He's tried everything to pull it up, but he's on a collision course no matter what at that point.
Back into his teammate.
And then Jason Benz cops it as well. That was just a nightmare scenario, wasn't it?
Massive nightmare scenario for all those drivers, and obviously trying to get out of the way, but just I think Chad Vigard's already committed to one side of the circuit, tried to stick to his line, and at the last minute Rudd's jumped across, and it's just brought all of them undone really, and caught them by surprise. And there's nothing really that Chad Vigard or Jason Benz or Dean Logsdale could do in that situation.
Yeah, a very, very different looking top five from what we were talking about just a few moments earlier. And this is always the risk in motor racing, isn't it? You get to that last lap and anything can happen. Wayne Walker takes the win, no question there, 7 seconds ahead of Matt Vanderkraan. Then Stone Street, Dyke and Douglas finish in the top five as well. Stephen Varga, just outside in P6, came out of nowhere after seeing about 5 cars disappear off the road in front of him. Mark Pointon, Luke Ormond and Craig Schulz ahead of Mick Clifton round out your top 10. And then Andrew Rushworth, Lorne McKee takes the Cup Trophy win in race number 1 ahead of Rick Vigard, Andrew Listener, Ernie Toss, James Hardy and Abel Verban. Ken Latta finishes in 18th after starting right down the back. Damon Fisher and Jamie McKnight rounding out your top 20. As we look further back through the field, Jason Benz finds himself in 21st, which for someone who was battling it out for the podium is going to be a massive disappointment. Glenn Boyce and Nick Geary, 22nd and 23rd, then Chad Vigard and Trav Daly ahead of Brad Hayes, Craig Rose and Jason Dunn. Dean Logsdale all the way down in 29th with Jim Caparonis in 30th. Ryan Palmer, a shocker of an opening race, 31st for him. Vin Salvatore and Ash Hall, the last of the drivers to finish on the lead lap. David Logsdale and Andrew Hoffman a lap down with Mick Rudd, Scott Perrins and Troy Sipple all back a couple of extra laps. And that was a rather eventful little finish to that opening race there, Isaac.
I think that's an understatement. That was a very eventful finish. I feel bad for Wayne Walker and Matt Vanderkraan because we spent most of that last lap trying to unpack what had happened, and I feel like we probably brushed over the very dominant victory there for Wayne Walker, who really just walked away with that race, didn't he? A pun, not necessarily intended, but Wayne Walker has walked away with that. 7 seconds up the road. Matt Vanderkraan as well just sort of disappeared. Chad Vigard did a really good job defending early on to protect his teammate, his Younger Birds teammate, from coming under fire from Jason Benz, who looked quick in the early stages of that race. So disappointing for those 3 drivers that it's all come undone as a result of some lap traffic in that back end of that race. Good news is they get another race. They get quite a handful. I think it's 35, I believe, something like that, to have another go, see if they can move further forward. But again, as we've seen, it's a difficult track to overtake at, so they're going to have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, they absolutely will. Stay tuned, folks. We will be right back with race 2 after a quick word from our major sponsor.
Providing the best for your family means a healthy, secure, and comfortable environment. But the daily risks your family faces are often invisible. Solar Guard performance films protect what matters most to you. While you're concentrating on the task at hand, we're protecting your family from uncomfortable solar heat, harmful UV light, and glare. Our window films and protective coatings are designed with decades of technical expertise and provide a vision towards the future. Solar Guard provides added protection to the places where they're needed most, creating invisible barriers for increased security. The people of Solar Guard design carbon-negative solutions that can help reduce energy costs and improve comfort. Allow us to tackle the invisible challenges so you can focus on the important things in life. What matters most to you? We're on it. Saint-Gobain, Solar Guard.
Well, welcome back to Mosport race fans. This is, of course, the Alliance Sim Racing Gard Supercar Championship Season 7 and Round 4. Well, what an opening to this race event. We thought we had the finishing order all worked out, and then a major incident with a lapped car taking out quite a number of your top 10. That's a very, very interesting change late in that first sprint race, 15 laps. This is one of those things, it just happens like that sometimes, unfortunately, but can't imagine any of the drivers will be super impressed with it, but you know, that's something for race control to figure out afterwards, Isaac.
I do not want to be race control in that situation, because that's going to be a huge headache for them to try and unpack, really, work out what happened there, what the root cause of that incident was, and that's going to be a long night for them, no doubt. So very glad that I'm not in that box, but now we get to turn our attention to the second race of the evening.
35 laps lie ahead here, and we have a reverse top 5 from race number 1. So Jason Douglas and Jamie Dyke will head the grid here for race number 2. Stone Street and Vanderkruijm behind them. Then Wayne Walker will start from 5th. Stephen Varga starts where he finished in 6th place. The rest of the field, as they finish, Poynton and Allman ahead of Schulz and Clifton, rounding out your top 10. Then Rushworth and McKee ahead of Vigar and Listener. Toth and Hardy alongside each other, with Burman and Ladder behind them. Damon Fisher and Jamie McKnight rounding out your top 20. Jason Bentz all the way back in 21st alongside Glenn Boyce, Nick Geary and Chad Vigar on row 12, with Trav Daly and Brad Hayes on row 13. Craig Gross and Jason Dunn alongside each other. Then Dean Logsdale and Jim Caperonis round out the 30. And by this stage, we're already back around the corner on the grid here at Mosport. Ryan Palmer in 31st alongside Vince Salvatore. Then Ash Hall and David Logsdale behind them. Andrew Hoffman and Mick Rudd, second to last row, ahead of Scotty Perrins and Troy Sipple. Tim Nicol, tell you what, he'll be kept busy in race control. I think he's probably a little glad that he didn't end up having to come out on track in the safety car last time, but certainly plenty to keep the race control stewards busy with as they review that first race. But of course, we've got another race just ahead, and we are going to have to jump on down to the track and see what's going on as the drivers get onto the grid with a... it's going to be an interesting race. I'll say that much. 35 laps is one thing, but 2 compulsory pit stops in that time. I don't know what we're going to see in terms of strategy here tonight.
It's hard to predict, isn't it? What we can sort of, I guess we can guess, we can make it up, but which we can make an informed guesstimation as to what the strategy is going to look like. But the reality is we don't really know what this is going to look like, and we're not too far away from green flag.
As the lights come up, Douglas and Dyke on the front row. Let's see how they go getting off the line. Jason Douglas launches well, but immediately behind comes the rest of this pack as they make their way down to turn 1. A fairly clean start all around as we try to get into some sort of racing order. 3 of the Accelerate Sim Racing cars right in line there. Mick Clifton, Rushworth and McKee all taking up their space on the track as well as we head on down the hill for the first time. And Jason Douglas out in front will have it all to do with Dyke, Stone Street and Vanderkruijm in hot pursuit as we get around these very, very tricky opening corners on cold supercar tyres, where you don't want to be as alongside another car at this stage. Most of the field already into this racing line and starting to settle in for this 35 lap race.
It's been a very calm open lap. This is where it came undone last time when we got underway in race 1. So we'll see if everybody gets through here. We've got a replay already. Oh, and that's contact with Vince Salvatore, one of the Chubby Buns cars, and then more contact with a Quantum Racing car. It looks like Troy Sipple has been caught up in that. So I thought we got away relatively clean off the start, but we've got a car around now.
Trav Daly at the back as well.
That's turn 6 into turn 7, and it's, I thought we were sort of getting away with it. We did at the front. It looked very, very clean and tidy at the front so far. But at the back, it's well and truly been gloves off. A lot of guys with positions to make up, work to do in this second race after a difficult race 1. And Matt Vanderkruijm and Wayne Walker, they were really able to just walk away with this race. Or the first race, but now they have to try and find a way to work their way through the pack, get some overtaking done, and that's not going to be easy at this circuit, as we've seen already tonight.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. The reverse top five. Ordinarily, you'd kind of look at that and go, well, yeah, sure, it's the top five. It's not going to make a massive difference, but this is going to be such a tricky track to make any progress through the order. Wayne Walker may only be 4 spots away from the front of the field, but it will feel like an absolute eternity as he sits there and tries to figure out how on earth he's going to find anywhere to get a pass done. Nick Geary looks up the inside, gets a bit of a jump over the curb. That's going to cost him some pace. Jay McKnight says, thank you very much. I'll take 21st. Ryan Palmer up into 23rd is also on the move. And Rick Vigar is alongside. Ken Latter is going up the inside here. I think he'll get this one done before they get to the S's. The question is Ernie Toth going to have a go at this as well, as we see very, very close to contact as everyone tries to get themselves sorted out. Jason Bentz picks up a spot just a couple behind here. And he's starting to make his way back up through the field as well, already up 5 spots after that very, very unfortunate finish to race number 1. The top 12 unchanged with the exception of Mark Poynton and Stephen Varga in 6th and 7th who have swapped positions, but otherwise not a single change of position in the top 12. It's all going on in the back part of this race order, as we see Ernie Toth now will be watching the rearview mirror very, very closely, because here comes Jason Bentz. He is absolutely on a mission.
He has a lot of work to do to try and make his way through this field, doesn't he? There's a couple of names that have to do that. Dean Logsdale, Chad Vigar. With Jason Bentz, he's up to 16th place in this race already. 5 spots he has made up, alongside Ken Ladd, who's also made up 5 spots in this race. Ryan Palmer up 8, and they are doing the best that they can to just try and make this work. Chad Vigar going and Dean Logsdale going for the alternate strategy, pitting early to get out of the way. I think it's an interesting call, I would say, Jared, to get out of the traffic now and serve one of the, I believe it's 2 mandatory pit stops, just to make sure that they can tick that box. So we'll have to see what they can do in fresh air, because that's actually quite exciting me at the prospect of them being able to just lap around sort of on their own, not have to worry about anybody else. Because fresh air, especially when everyone's in a train like this at the moment, fresh air can do a lot.
Yeah, and just not having to worry about trying to make an overtake or trying to hold off someone who is in behind you can make all the difference, particularly early on in the race. You know, it's not a bad idea when you've got 2 compulsory pit stops to take over only 35 laps. You know, it's not a particularly long lap here. You're talking just shy of a minute and a half, or actually fair way shy of a minute and a half in racing terms, a minute 20 or less to get around the lap here. So 35 laps is not a particularly long one. It is absolutely a little bit torturous on tyres just by nature of the layout of Mosport, but if you've got no real need to worry about the fuel strategy in any way, shape or form, then you should absolutely be thinking about how to get the very, very best out of these compulsory pit stops to give yourself some space to actually play with, as we see Nick Geary take that spot back from Jamie McKnight, and he's got that curb jumping down to an art form, does Geary.
He certainly does, and we've got an incident drive-through penalty for car 51.
That is Andrew Hoffman.
Just trying to
early
Andrew Hoffman.
With,
so
Vince Salvatore.
yes, so which meant that Troy Silver got caught up in that as well. So that's that contact all the way back, pretty much off the start that we saw, and yeah, drive-through penalty. So Damon Fisher now into the pit lane for his stop. So this is Stephen Varga. We're looking at Luke Allman right in behind him. A drive-through penalty for car 16. That is Dean Logsdale. It is Dean Logsdale for contact with Travis Daly.
We'll
so
go back and we'll take a look at that in a moment.
Yeah, so that is interesting as well. I don't think he caught that one at the start, but he'll not be super thrilled about that, I can imagine. But this battle, Stephen Varga, he's got a little bit of breathing room to the car in front, so a little bit of clean air. Luke Allman, then he's got Schulz, Clifton, Rushworth right in behind. This train of cars is very extensive at the moment. That is up the inside for Jason Bentz on Ernie Toth. So another position, there's contact in the background. Toth. Was that a bit of a nudge from Listener, I believe? Was that Listener? I was trying to work out who exactly that was he made contact with, but I believe it was Listener, you're right. And now they're all 3 wide down the back straight. This is not going to work when they get down to turn 8 at the bottom of the hill here. Not ideal at all. They're going to have to work this out before they get there. Listener does back out. They're still 2 wide. And that is Jamie McKnight on Geary. around the outside, and I think he's going to try and make it work. Goes back to the inside here, but I think Geary might have him in the second phase of that corner. Now he's side by side with, it's Hardy that he's battling away with now, and gets another spot up. This is going to reopen the door for Jamie McKnight, so these guys are still going to keep going. McKnight's down the inside of Hardy now to get that position done up into 17th place. The elbows and the are well and truly out with these guys. They are. There's a little bit of contact. He gets loosed as McKnight around the outside of James Hardy, but I think he's going to get that position. And Hardy's probably just backed out of it a little bit. Oh, it's contact with Boyce in the background. So Hardy's been spun or half spun by Boyce. So now he's lost a handful of positions because he was a little bit checked up, caught on the outside. Boyce fancied himself a look up the inside into turn number 3, I believe that was, and there was a little bit of contact there to just unsettle that car, and he's lost a handful of spots. This is the gloves are well and truly off. There's action aplenty at the moment out there, Jared Cole, nonetheless for the battle for the lead at the moment.
Yeah, I was keeping a close eye on that. There's plenty going on back in that group, but the battle at the front is really starting to spice up. Jamie Dyke, I think, feeling like he can start to push on here. Jason Douglas under a huge amount of pressure, and Dyke has a big look up the inside as they make their way towards turn 1, just wants to fill the mirrors and try and unsettle that JMR driver. Jamie Dyke, of course, no stranger to this track, or indeed to the Gen 3 supercars, so it'll be interesting to see what he can manufacture here. I don't know where he's going to get this pass done, though. That's the challenging thing. Douglas, to his credit, is driving very, very consistently at the moment. He's not lapping the quickest that we've ever seen around here, but of course it is early days, and when you're constantly keeping that eye on the mirror just to see who's behind you and where they are, yeah, it is a little bit trickier to put down those really, really fast lap times.
Yeah, it can be really tricky. Just to be consistent, and this battle pack, man, I cannot take my eye off how close these guys are on just a lap by lap basis. They are usually, in race 1, we saw a couple drivers pulling away, making a gap. This is Ken Latta and Law McKee going at it now on the run down towards turn 8 at the back end of this. Not really a back straight, is it? They're sort of just like a big curve, but Ken Latta gets that position done. He's up into 9th place now, and he continues to move forward. I'm trying to get the number on how many places he has actually moved forward in this race. 9 spots so far for Ken Latta. Jason Bent's trying to follow him up 8 spots in this race, just off the back of this group. You can see him in the background of that camera shot earlier. And this is still the battle for the lead. Jason Douglas, Jamie Dyke, Troy Stonestreet, Wayne Walker. You throw a blanket over these guys at the moment. That's how close they are together on the circuit. They are pushing each other really hard here. No one's been able to pull away. No one's been able to make a gap. And that just really ups the intensity for all these drivers, doesn't it? Because everyone's now feeling the pressure. And usually if you pull away, you can maybe not really relax too much, but you can just sort of relax a little bit, not have to worry too much about a driver in front or behind. Here, they're not able to do that. They're under constant pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at the rear view of any one of the top 3 right now, and you know if you make a single error, you're going to give up not just 1 spot, you're going to give up 5 or 6 spots. And that's the really, really challenging mental battle that these guys have got now. They're starting to settle into the rhythm. The tyres are starting to go here. We're 8 laps in, they're well past their best times. So I reckon what we're going to see is just potentially a couple of strategic pit stops placed in the next couple of laps. That's a possibility, as we see in the background. Sure enough, Wayne Walker and Mark Poynton both come in, as does Luke Orman. So they're getting out of this train. They're going to get in and go for that undercut. Jamie Dyke's going to push on. He knows he's got a bit of a gap now behind him, so he can really focus forward and see if he's got an opportunity to get past this JMR car of Jason Douglas. I don't know. It's going to be really, really tough to actually find a pass here, and I don't know whether Douglas is really leaving enough openings here that Dyke can look to exploit. I haven't seen any major opportunities, as Matt Vanderkraan runs a 1:19.591, so we're officially getting down to the lower half of the 19s. We're still a good half second or more off the fastest time that we did see last year, but keep in mind, of course, we've still got 20 odd laps to go, 25 odd laps to go. As the fuel loads come down, that pace is going to quicken.
Yeah, these laps are going to start to get faster and faster, as you said, as the cars start to get lighter. We'll note we have 51 people watching at the moment, which welcome in if you are watching. If you're watching for the first time, welcome to Alliance Sim Racing. This is what you can expect week in, week out from the drivers side by side. Brad Hayes, Glenn Boyce. This is for 12th place. And third place overall third place in the Trophy AM class, and he's got that move done as Brad Hayes up the inside. Very clinical, very textbook manoeuvre, and that is a very lovely overtake, I have to say. But it's great to see so many people out there tuning in on their Tuesday night to watch some amazing supercars action here at Mosport, Canadian Tire, and get some ASR on your Tuesday night. Hopefully we'll start to see everybody coming back, because man, this category tonight has been there's been no stoppage of action, has there? Really, Jared? The green flag flies, and we don't really stop trying to keep up with everything that's going on until the checkered flag flies.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. I've been sitting here trying to find a good time for us to go back and have a look at the incident with Trav Daly, just to see what happened that took him off the road. But we haven't had an opportunity for about the last 5 laps, I reckon, to even go have a look at it. Here's the battle for the effective lead right now. Matt Vanderkraan and Wayne Walker absolutely locked in it. Vanderkraan's going to have a real battle on his hands. We see a 5-second penalty issued there to Nick Geary for the incident with car 027 Jamie McKnight. So a bit of contact as those two battled it out earlier on, perhaps. Vanderkraan is under immense pressure at the moment. Wayne Walker, the reigning champion, he goes up the inside. Vanderkraan knows he's done. He gets out of the way. Wayne Walker goes through, and I think this will probably be the last anyone sees of Wayne Walker for a while now. He will start to pull away. He is almost unstoppable once he gets out in front like this.
Yeah, and we saw that in the first race, didn't we? The gap that he pulled on Matt Vanderkraan across those 15 laps. So as the stops continue to come down, 7 seconds, yeah, as you said, Jared, that was a huge gap, massive power slide through turn 1 there for Wayne Walker. He is well and truly on the ball at the moment. He has got Jamie Dyke though in front of him, so he's made up a spot in these pit stops, or in these pit stops I should say. However, it's still not going to be smooth sailing for... Oh, we've got a car on the wall in the background, so it's not smooth sailing. That's Ashley Hall that has made contact with the inside wall. They're not sure if he was given a helping hand there, but that does look very messy. He's now missing that front bar. He's going to be very error compromised. He's got Andrew Rushworth closing in at a rapid rate of knots there. Does move out of the way and let him go, but that's super unfortunate for Ashley Hall to end up in the wall like that.
Yeah, not what he would have planned for, that's for sure. This will be interesting now. We're starting to see some of the front runners coming into the pits. Jamie Dyke has really put in a brilliant effort to stay ahead of Wayne Walker, but it gives you an idea of just how strong that undercut can be. Walker and Vanderkraan both picking up a couple of spots to be up with Jamie Dyke, who's now got a fair battle ahead of him. He's still got 23 laps to go as he crosses the line. It's going to be a real question of just how long he can hold off Wayne Walker. The gap at the moment is 1.2, but I have no doubt we're going to start to see that drop because Walker will have fresh tyres on. He's about to start setting some really, really quick laps. Let's take a moment to go back and take a look at the incident with Trav Daly earlier on. This is back on the first lap, and I'm really curious as to just how much of a helping hand was given here. Oh yeah, big push up the inside. That'll do it.
That will absolutely do it. That is certainly a quite a sizable helping hand there from Dean Longsdale. No wonder he's been slapped with what he might feel is a harsh penalty, but the stewards will see it as completely fair, I'm sure. And yeah, it's just it's really tricky on those first few laps. And we see Clifton up the, was that lap car getting out of the way, I believe, potentially. I'm trying to work out whether that was an overtake for position or not. I think it was a lap car getting out of the way, but it's so tricky, especially on the opening lap at a circle like this. The corners are so tight. Everyone's jockeying for position, and you don't want to get caught up with another car, but when you're going through a corner like that, side by side, sometimes it's easy to just overshoot the corner a little bit, commit yourself and make contact like Dean Longsdale did, and unfortunately he's paid the price.
the Chubby Buns replay. Ash Hall, this is the earlier incident. On the brakes, just off the track, didn't get it pulled up. Big off track there, and then is there a helping hand just up ahead, or has he just overcooked the next corner as well? I think maybe, I don't know, slightly cold tyres, out into the marbles, touches the grass, and across he goes.
Yeah, just it's I'm trying to unpack really how that's happened for Ashwell. I think he's just tried to carry too much speed into the corner and it's just caught him on the dirty side of the track. This is a nice little battle. This is Jason Bence, Jim Capronis and Nick Geary, and I want to make sure I get that right from now on.
We've got to nail that down. Absolutely.
We've got to nail that name down. And crucially, I'm noticing Jason Douglas, who was leading this race earlier, is in behind this battle group that's going on. So I'm not sure if that's due, we've got cars going solo, so I'm not sure if that's due to maybe taking more fuel in a pit stop or some sort of issue for him, but he was leading this race at one stage, and now we've got Bence and Capronis going side by side on the run down towards turn 8. He's going to invite himself into this party, isn't he? Trying to look for another overtake, make it a double whammy on Jim Capronis, the Chubby Buns car. He's going to be stuck on the outside, the dirty side of the road, and Jim Capronis is very decisive and very divisive move back in front of the Nick Geary car, and now Jason Douglas fancies himself a look up the inside. Jamie McKnight's in the background of this as well, so do not count him out for inviting himself into the party. But Jason Douglas, I just feel like he's a little bit out of position for me at the moment, considering where he was earlier in this race.
Yeah, and that can be explained completely by his pit stop. Most of these drivers spending somewhere around, call it 12 to 14 seconds in the pit bay. Douglas spending just shy of 30 seconds in the pit bay on that last stop. So whether there was some damage to be repaired or just went for a very, very high fuel load remains to be seen. There's a couple other drivers who did make 20-second stops, and that could be an alternate strategy that's viable, right? You come in, do a really quick tyre change in your next compulsory stop, and just a splash of fuel to go with it, and maybe that's the idea. But I can't imagine needing to put a huge amount of fuel in at this stage to make that viable. As we see on 3 wide, Douglas squeezes up the inside of Capronis. He's barged on through, and that is Supercar overtaking at Mosport. We knew that was going to be a feature of tonight, and Jason Douglas shows how it's done. Have a look at Capronis. He wants back in there. Nick Geary says, thank you very much, you've run just a little bit wide, I'll pick this spot up as well. And Jamie McKnight's going to try and follow through as we get into turn 1 again.
This is what can easily happen though. You get stuck on the dirty line out wide, and all of a sudden there's 2 or 3 cars in a battle pack that are ready to just help themselves to your track position. And Jimmy Capronis has fallen victim to that. He had Jason Douglas just go past, and then Nick Geary has decided he wants a piece of the pie. And Jamie McKnight did fancy himself a look, but very wide there from Capronis, sent it very deep into the corner. Now they'll run down through turn 4 and into turn 5. You've got to brake while turning. That's the big lockup. I was about to say, just about to make a comment that these cars do not like turning and braking at the same time. And as if on cue before. Geary's on the dirty part of the road, on the grass. And Jason Douglas just made my point for me before I could even make it, that the cars do not like turning and braking at the same time. It's all happening at the moment at Mosport. Canadian Tire for rounds. I don't even know what round we're in. I think it's round 3.
We're in round 4 tonight.
I can't even keep up. It's all happening.
That door-to-door battle between McKnight and Capronis, the contact there onto the Andretti straight, I am amazed that Capronis managed to hold on to that. These guys are great behind the wheel, but the fishtail that got on just then was absolutely enormous. The couple other close battles started to form up. Ken Latta is continuing to move up through the pack. He's up 6 spots at the moment, so he's looking to reel in Mick Clifton at this stage. Who else have we got battling it out now? I can't believe, I just can't believe what we've just seen. Those few laps really separating out that group of drivers now from having Douglas, McKnight, Capronis and Geary all tucked in together. They've really ended up with some space in between them. Craig Schulz comes in to make his first pit stop. That makes Abel Verban in P2 on track at the moment. There we go. He comes in for his first pit stop as well. So really, it's going to be Jamie Dyke and Wayne Walker out in front at the moment. Matt Vanderkraan is under all sorts of pressure. Mark Poynton has caught up to him and has slotted in right behind. Big slide in the background for the Frog Leap juiced entry. And he is pushing on hard. He absolutely wants to get ahead of Vanderkraan here and start to try and track down Walker and maybe even Jamie Dyke. But that gap's starting to open up. What is interesting, Jamie Dyke doing an awesome job at the moment of actually holding Wayne Walker off. Now, I expect that Walker is probably just conserving his tyres a little bit at the moment, because we're not seeing super quick times from him. Dyke's last lap, 19.73 and 19.87 from Wayne Walker, which we know he's capable of about a second faster than that. So is this perhaps a strategy play?
Oh, very well could be. Look after these tyres in the middle stint so you can extend to when you need to serve your second pit stop, give yourself more ammo at the end of this race. That would be ideal, I think, for Wayne Walker to try and really get to the front of this field to win this race, because Jamie Dyke is doing a wonderful job at the moment, just driving honestly quite flawlessly. But we haven't seen Wayne Walker do any sort of blistering times. We saw him quite fast in the first race. He's only done a 19.5 as his fastest lap of the race. This is Ken Latta. He's been stalking the back of Mick Clifton for a while. He's going to fancy himself a look now. Lorne McKee also lurking in the background, but that is around the outside for Ken Latta into turn 8. He's made that look very, very easy, and I can guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, that is not an easy overtake to pull off on the dirty side of the road. It's such a high-speed corner, and now he has got past Mick Clifton, but Lorne McKee, the Accelerate teammates, are about to do battle, I feel, in just a moment, because he is right under the rear wing of Mick Clifton, so Mick Clifton could lose a couple spots here. Goes defensive on the run into turn 2. And he's going to have to be defensive if he wants to hold on to this what is essentially, I was going to say the AM class lead, but actually it's not. And now up the inside goes Lorne McKee, caught on the outside line. Mick Clifton, Rick Vigar now riding behind. This could be a disastrous for Mick Clifton. He's continuing to lose spots, just getting caught on the dirty side of the road.
I have to think that Clifton's gotten out of the way for McKee there. He moved well off the line, so I think that part was intentional. I don't think he expected Vigar to have quite so much pace coming up behind him, and now he's really got that Angry Birds car right up on the rear bumper as they head up the Andretti Straight once again. We're at about the halfway point of this race so far, folks. All of these drivers having made their first compulsory stops. So we're expecting to see another stop from all of these drivers as we see a lapped car just getting out of the way of this little group that we've been watching. There are certainly a few battles going on, not quite as big as what we started with, but the trains are coming together here and there. Craig Schulz and Troy Stone Street. Schulz has just charged through on turn 1. Stone Street's left just the tiniest bit of room up the inside, and Schulz has absolutely pounced at that. A beautiful move through turn 1.
Yeah, he's just really capitalised on that situation, hasn't he? Stone Street left, as you said, a little bit of room there. Open the door ever so slightly, and he's just absolutely capitalised. Now Rick Vigar on the back of Mick Clifton. So this is what we saw a couple of laps ago. He got caught wide, letting his teammate through, we believe. And that really opened the door for Rick Vigar, didn't it? Just to close up and really sit him behind. Keep in mind, Jason Bentz, not too far, only half a second off the back of these two. So he's continuing to try and move forward in this race. He's up, I'll get the numbers for you. He's up 7 spots so far in this race. Couple cars, and I actually believe everyone has pitted now. So on correction, he's 7 spots up. Rick Vigar has not moved forwards or backwards in this race. He'll want to try and get ahead, put a car between himself and Jason Bentz before he gets there. He looks to the inside now, under brakes into turn 8, heavy under braking. Jason Bentz wants to invite himself in from a very long way back on Mick Clifton, but he has got that done. They both have it done, and that's 2 spots lost for Mick Clifton. He didn't put up a massive fight there. Maybe knew it was for the best to let them go, because Jason Bentz now wants to get past Rick Vigar, continue to move forward. He's looking very racy here indeed, isn't he, Jason Bentz? He's absolutely on a charge in this second race.
He's got a lot to make up for after race 1. That very, very late lap 14 of 15, and getting caught up in what was a devastating incident for a number of our top drivers here with Alliance Sim Racing. It's cost them a lot of points and so they'll be looking to make the most of this because, of course, you want to maximise your points every single round, and the joy of these feature races is that there are double the points on offer compared to that sprint. So he can minimise the damage for this round and maybe keep it from being a drop round. But you know, it's such a tough thing when you do have that poor opening race to decide on just how hard to push in this second race to try and make the most of it. You could well end up with a drop round out of it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And the drop round is something that these guys will probably think a lot about. They don't necessarily want to have a really bad round and then, you know, say, well, that's going to be my drop round, and then have to make sure every round from there is their best round. Really, what you want is a whole season, whole 10 rounds of your best round, so that your drop round doesn't actually really affect you that much, because it could be any of them in the grand scheme of things. So everyone will be trying to capitalize, not sort of go, well, this will just be my drop round, because if you resign to that fate and then you have a really bad week the next week, all of a sudden you think, oh, I should have raced harder the week before, and that time is gone. So Jason Bent's doing a wonderful job just to try and maximize as best he can. So is Ken Ladder, up 9 spots in this race so far. Still plenty of opportunity to continue to move forward. He's got Luke Allman right in front of him. He's dragging Lorne McKee with him. Lorne McKee is driving out of his skin in this race, isn't he? Inside the top 10 overall, leading the AM Trophy class. And he is just driving absolutely brilliantly. Luke Allman, he's got his rear mirror full of Ken Ladder's Fishy Motorsports Mustang. Has a look, pulls alongside, down the back straight, and will have this move done on the run into turn 8, and he does. So that is another spot gained for Ken Ladder, up into 8th place. 2.8 seconds is Troy Stone Street up the road. So a bit of work to do, but with over 12 laps to go in this race, I think that's plenty of time for Ken Ladder to continue to make inroads. Matt Vanderkraan and Jason Bentz into the lane for their second stop. So Jason Bentz trying to get a bit of clean air to continue to move forward. Matt Vanderkraan probably looking for a little bit of clean air as well. And this is the time now. We did talk about what the strategy would be, Jared, and we're starting to see those first round of stops start to come in now for the second stop.
Yeah, it will be an interesting strategy play at this point. I'm not surprised to see Vanderkraan coming in, as we see Poynton and Palmer just trading places here. Mark Poynton absolutely flying. Look, Ryan Palmer, to his credit, up 14 spots. He's certainly fought his way back from 31st to start pretty nicely. The challenge at the moment, we were talking about the gap to Jamie Dyke staying out at about 2 seconds. Have a look at what Wayne Walker's closed that down to now, 3/10. It's a little bit different as Walker comes in for that second stop. So Jamie Dyke's going to continue on, and now he really does need to maximise his lap time, but also get as far through these remaining laps as he possibly can to minimise the amount of time that he needs to spend in his second pit stop for his splash and dash that is still yet to come. Wayne Walker was right on his tail. What will be interesting to see is where Matt Vanderkraan ends up as Walker comes out of the pits, and I think it's going to be a close thing.
I think this is going to be really close, and look, who blinks first in this situation with Jamie Dyke? How long does he stay out to try and, I guess he's got track position at the moment, but Wayne Walker will be on a fresh set of boots, pushing. He is out of the pits, pushing hard, and just trying to capitalise on what he's got, but it will take a lap or two for these tyres to come up to the ideal temperature. So there's a little bit of a window here for Jamie Dyke just to really push as hard as he can. He's got tyres that are up to temperature. They are warm. Yes, they're rubbing in, but he's still doing pretty solid lap times, a 20.5 on the previous lap for Jamie Dyke. That's not terrible, all things considered. We'll keep an eye on what Wayne Walker can do, but again, it will take a little bit for these tyres to come up to temperature. So Jamie Dyke, he's got a little bit of a window. He won't want to wait too long. There he goes in the lane for his stop. So pretty much capitalising straight away to minimise the advantage that Wayne Walker would get from the undercut.
Have a look at Jason Bentz absolutely rocketing through. He's only up 3 spots on paper at the moment, but he's made his second stop. A lot of these other drivers haven't. So we'll see how he continues to progress. As you can see, most of the front of the field coming in to make their second stop. So they'll have about a 10-lap run to the end, which is a nice little number to be putting these tyres through. I've just been looking at Damon Fisher. He's sitting there in the pit lane, meatball flag. He's been out since about lap 4. And I'm trying to figure out what has happened. We might go back and take a quick look. Because I actually think he might have had a really awkward pit lane entry and has done some damage. Because he's looking absolutely fine here, comes into pit lane. Does
Watch
something
this
go wrong here?
very closely.
No.
This is really... No.
It's really, really odd, isn't it?
That's strange.
I don't know. I don't quite know what's happened to Damon Fisher. And that's the bit that I'm trying to figure out, is where the damage has occurred.
Yeah, that's it's really peculiar one, isn't it, for this situation? Like, you look at that run into the pit lane, all he did was lock up. I don't really see how that's damaged his car, so a bit of a strange one there for Damon Fisher.
Actually, I can tell you, I think what's happened. I've just realised that what I think has happened for Damon Fisher there. He's come into the pits, and although we haven't heard anything from race control, there was a fair bit of blinking there, and although it says from my telemetry here that he jumped pits, what it actually was Damon Fisher having a little bit of a blink as he was driving into the pits. So I actually think it might be connection issues that have put him out. I cannot... Oh, and that of course explains the meatball flag, because he's been sitting there with the engine running and the car's overheated and blown the motor. There you go.
No, there we go. We got there eventually. We knew we would. We knew we'd get to the bottom of it. If there's one thing we do, it's we always get to the bottom of it. We've got Brian Borg in chat saying, sorry guys, sorry I couldn't make it tonight. It's all good, Brian. We do miss you out there, but hopefully we'll see you back next week, and because this has been a really good race tonight, and it's certainly been missing yourself out there. So looking forward to seeing you back on track hopefully next week and doing what you do best. But the racing we've had tonight, Jared, has been absolutely not short of action, has it? We've had something happen pretty much every single lap to keep us on the edge of our seat. We've got, I think it's something like 61 viewers watching at the moment, and that just goes to show the quality of this field and just how much action there's been, because everyone's been on the edge of their seat. It's drawn everybody in, and I hope no one's planning on going and getting a drink or doing anything, because we've still got 9 laps to go, and this is about to be the most exciting part of the race with 9 laps to go. Wide there from, who was that went wide? Toth. But he's going into the pit lane, so I got excited thinking he got really wide, trying to carry too much speed. He was just running into the pit lane, so I got a little bit ahead of myself. But crucially, I'm noticing Ken Latta, Jason Bentz, now line astern. These are the two guys that have fought their way through this field. 8 spots for Ken Latta, 10 spots for Jason Bentz. They've got work to do as they continue to navigate back markers in this field. But we could see a battle between these two at the back end of this race, as the two cars that have really just pushed their way through the field.
Yeah, and there's only a few drivers that have actually made that kind of progress here tonight. It's on your screen now, guys, but Ken Latta up 8 spots, as you said. Jason Bentz up 10. Chad Weiger is up 10 spots in 14th. Now, this is mostly pretty accurate. Almost all the drivers have made their second stop now, with the exception of Craig Schulz, who comes in now from the lead of the race to make his second stop. So this is pretty much on the money. Jim Caperonis and Ryan Palmer both up 12 spots, so there's been some big movers throughout this field. It's always impressive to see double-digit gains in any race, particularly Gen 3 supercars though, and particularly a place like Mosport, where passing opportunities are just not that easy to come by.
Yeah, one thing I'd love to know is we've got an incident here, car 666 and 121, so 5-second penalty for car 666, James Hardy, and he's had contact with Jason Dunn at some point on lap 24, it does appear. I'd love to know what has happened to Jason Douglas, because he is down 16 spots in this race. We're going to get a replay here of the contact with Hardy and Dunn, and looks up inside.
That'll do it. A little bit ambitious.
That'll do it. Very ambitious indeed. Obviously thought believed he could have enough room to get up the inside there, and the stewards have disagreed in that situation, handed him a 5-second penalty for his trouble. But Jason Douglas, I just keep coming back to He's lost 16 spots in this race. Looked really strong, but after that first pit stop, just didn't seem to recover the way that a lot of others did. He has stopped twice in this race, so he served the same amount of pit stops as everybody else. Last pitted on lap 21. So I'm just curious as to what happened as Ken Latta now goes around the outside of Luke Orman into the braking zone. Can he make it again? That's pretty much a mirror image of what he did not too long ago before this round of pit stops, and gets himself back up into 8th place. But yeah, it's just strange, it's just baffling me as to what has happened to poor Jason Douglas, because I feel like this happened to either the last round or the round before as well, Jared, where Jason Douglas was in a strong position, and then after the first round of pit stops was in the pits a bit longer than everybody else, and unfortunately found himself down the field.
Yeah, and I can't quite wrap my head around it. You know, this latest stop he was in there for 11.5 seconds, let's call it, which is pretty much on par with everyone else. So it kind of does destroy the theory that he's taken on a huge amount of fuel in the aims of bringing the second stop down. Maybe it was completely by mistake that he's taken on more fuel than intended in that opening pit stop, in that first stop that he's made. Has he not changed the fuel numbers to match what his strategy was here tonight, and as a result he's taken on too much fuel? Because 11 seconds, I mean, you're still going to spend around about that long getting just the tyres done. So he's definitely grabbed some new tyres by the look of it, but if he's taken on a huge amount of fuel as a mistake in that first pit stop, then that's about the only thing I can think of that would explain the almost 30 seconds that he sat in the box. Now, whether that perhaps explains some of the lack of pace as well. If he's carrying a huge amount of extra fuel over the rest of the field here, as we see Craig Schulz and Luke Orman starting to get closer and closer together. Schulz is looking to pick up another spot here if he can. I don't know. That's all I can come up with, short of Douglas just, I don't know, losing his nerve or just missing his mojo.
Yeah, it's certainly a peculiar one. One thing I have noticed, quite a large thing to notice, we have a change for the lead. Wayne Walker is ahead of Jamie Dyke and leading this race. This is a battle with Luke Orman and Craig Schulz, so I think this is going to end in tears if they're not careful. There's a lap car that's trying to get themselves. That's contact with Jason Benz, and that has sent
Hoffman into the wall.
Andrew Hoffman into the wall, and that is huge contact with Benz. He was trying to get out of the way of the battle between Orman and Schulz, and Jason Benz came in at a great rate of knots, trying to also get his way through to keep up with these guys, and unfortunately side-to-side contact has sent Andrew Hoffman into the wall. But we do, again, have a change for the lead. So Wayne Walker now with the fastest lap of the race of an 18.9, so he has found his way into the 18s, has gone past Jamie Dyke, who is trying to stay within touch, but he's just slowly starting to fall away. And Wayne Walker looks like he could be in control of this race once again.
Yeah, look, Wayne Walker got the pass done while Dyke was in serving his second pit stop. There wasn't much in it, but just enough that Jamie Dyke has found himself looking at the back end of Walker's Mustang. And yeah, all the work to do from here. It's 3/4 of a second behind. That's going to be really, really tough to try and pull back in. And yeah, look, a big call as well from Sean McNamara in the chat. Good to have you with us again, of course, Sean. Craig made a really smart decision there, backed out as they got to the
lap car.
The lap car with Andrew Hoffman, and that probably saved him, honestly.
I tend to agree in that situation. It definitely was a brilliant tactic from Craig Schulz. Yes, it does compromise the run that he had out of turn one, but it has preserved the fact that he's now, look at this, you can see the lap car there. By the time they get to the corner, he's backed out of it, tucked in behind again. He was in position to maybe go for an overtake. Huge contact there with Jason Benz that sends him into the wall. And that's, again, super unfortunate for both of those drivers. Jason Benz has got a lot of pace in this race, losing touch with these guys now, which says he probably is carrying a little bit of damage, wounded probably not ever so slightly, but is wounded. Ryan Palmer trying to move his way forward in this race. Both him and the car in front, Jim Capronis, up 12 spots in this race tonight. There is Ryan Palmer. He's got the tank top on this evening. He's got the arms free to
has a
really
big look
help
up the
him.
inside
He
of
has a big
Caperonis there.
look up the inside. He is locked into the rig at the moment, and he's got the guns out to help him go even faster tonight, and it has helped him in this second race try and move forward. He's up, as we said, 12 spots. We've got Trav Daly right behind, and ready to pounce if these two get a little bit caught up. But this little battle pack for the back end of the top 20 is looking like it's going to go all the way to the end of this race.
And not many laps to go. It's one of the things about Mosport, it really sneaks up on you. All of a sudden, we're into the final 5 laps. Wayne Walker looking very, very strong. Jamie Dyke's still sitting in second, so he won't be disappointed with that because he's got, what, a 10-second gap back to Matt Vanderkraan in third, who himself has to keep an eye on Mark Poynton behind because Poynton is, look, just nipping at the heels ever so slightly, just keeps dipping inside that 1 second mark. I don't know if he's going to catch Vanderkraan, but Vanderkraan at this point has to be just thinking about conserving that third step on the podium for just a few more laps. There's not much left to go here. This group, though, is starting to heat up. The battle for 18th, but it's a battle nonetheless. Jim Caperonis with Ryan Palmer all over his rear bar. Trav Daly is now right in amongst it as well. There's going to be contact here. You can almost feel it. Trav Daly thinks about going around the outside. Ryan Palmer looks for the inside move again there. Trav Daly finds himself just off a line there, and he's going to lose a little bit of traction through the marbles. That'll give Palmer just a little bit of breathing room. He finds himself very wide on the entry to 1, though. This could be the opportunity that Daly's been looking for. Palmer drops back from Caperonis, gets the foot down on the exit of 1, though. I think it's going to come to nothing here, and they're just going to carry on. We've got 3 laps to go. I don't know where any of these guys are going to find another pass with such a small amount of time left in this race.
Turn 8. If they can get in the slipstream, that's the key spot. That's the only spot I really think we're going to see a major overtake before the end of this race here. So if I'm going to pick for there to be an overtake between these guys at any point in these last 3 laps, it'll be at turn 8, the slipstream. The exit out of here, maximise that run for Ryan Palmer. Go as wide as possible to straighten up the exit out of turn 6 through 7. Now down to the back straight, and this is what he has to do, get alongside. The side draft in these cars, we've spoken about it before, a lot more powerful than the rear draft, and he is right alongside Jim Caperonis. He's going to be around the outside into turn 8. This is the spot he needs to get it done. He needs to hang it here around the outside, stay alongside, but he just can't quite do it. Jim Caperonis will slot back in front for turn 9, back into turn 10, but that's the spot for Ryan Palmer. That's what he needs to do. He just needs to be a little bit further alongside, use that side draft more effectively to make sure that he can stay around the outside at turn 8 and then have the inside line at turn 9 to really cement that position, but it can be done.
It was such a strong demonstration of just what a difference getting alongside can make in a Gen 3 Supercar. You really force a lot of air up and over the rear wing of the car that you're alongside, and it slows them down incredibly. You'd ordinarily not expect to see Palmer with that much extra pace. He didn't have an exit out of Moss Corner that was so much stronger that he should be able to get alongside, but just close enough to get that side draft happening, and all of a sudden it gives an opportunity. Will he do it again here? That's the question as we start to enter the final couple of laps. There's not a lot of time left for any of these drivers who are looking for another opportunity. We've got another battle going on further up the field. This is Ormond Schulz, and Bentz is in amongst it as well. Jason Bentz looks to the inside. I think he's going to pick up another spot. He gets past Craig Schulz. Schulz runs a little bit wide on the exit, and Bentz moves up into 10th spot. He's been stuck behind these guys for a little while. Ken Latta got through earlier, and he's put nothing but distance in between them. He's almost 3 seconds up the road. And further up, Stephen Varga and Troy Stonestreet still getting into it. Neither of these guys willing to budge as they battle it out for 5th place. We've got about a lap and a half left. Stonestreet gets up the inside. Varga just a little bit too wide on the exit, and he's going to try and find it back. He's alongside. There's a little bit of a nudge. Doesn't want to give up that spot just yet. He's going to have to look for an over-under move here, but Stonestreet has closed the door and will get the drive out onto the Andretti straight. I think that'll be it for Stephen Varga. He's going to have almost no hope of pulling that back now with only the final lap to go.
Yeah, again, if he can maximise the exit out of 6, he could on the final lap, but it's going to be a big ask from here. So Troy Stonestreet, very decisive, defensive driving there, and just really wonderful to hold on to that position. A top 5 result here for him would be absolutely awesome. And this is Wayne Walker. He has got the white flag. He is on the final lap, and he's just really showed his class, his skill tonight, hasn't he? He's got the number 1 on the door for a reason, and he has put that on full display tonight at Mosport. Just really, I guess the term is put on a clinic, and just showing these guys how it's done. Just side by side, Ryan Palmer again. This is what he has to do around the outside. He's further along this time. This is where he needs to be. The switchback on the inside at turn 9, he's got it done. It's not quite over yet, though. Deep under brakes for Jim Capronis. He fancies himself a look. He's going to be alongside. Down the front straight now. Oh, he's in the wall. He's in the wall. Travis Daly's caught up in it as well. We've got multiple cars strewn across the track. I think maybe only Ryan Palmer actually now is left stranded there, but he tried to come across to block Jim Capronis, got turned across the front bumper of that car, and as a result has lost his front bar, and that is super frustrating for Ryan Palmer. That was some really defensive action.
Wayne Walker comes across the line, picks up the win, the lights flash. There's Jamie Dyke home in second. 10.5 seconds down the track will be Matt Vanderkraan. He'll come home in third. I tell you what, action aplenty. These guys won't have seen any of it out in front, but Wayne Walker, another fantastic drive to take the win there. I do want to go back and see if we can pick up just what happened in that incident with Trav Daly, with Ryan Palmer, with Jim Capronis, because that was just all three of them trying to occupy the space of one car, I think. Let's take a look from the overhead, and you can see Capronis really fighting hard to maintain that. And here comes Trav Daly up the inside. I think
Huge contact into the wall.
I don't know what to make of that, and I'm not even going to try at this point. Wayne Walker, fantastic win.
I need to watch that about 10 more times before I could even really come to a conclusion. We've still got cars crossing the line. Ernie Toth with the next car across the line in 23rd from Brad Hayes, from Andrew Listener, Boyce, and then Ryan Palmer. Into the wall. Just one more time for good luck, isn't it? Just to really cement that race for Ryan Palmer. And yeah, just one more time. Just make sure that steering is definitely bent. And that is, again, super unfortunate for him. Again, I'm going to have to watch that, at least 10 more times, really just to get an understanding of what actually happened before I can even start to make a judgment call on who might have been at fault in that situation.
I don't even know where to start, honestly. What a race, though, for the top three. Kept themselves so far clear of the trouble. Some great pit strategy. Wayne Walker comes home with the win ahead of Jamie Dyke and Matt Vanderkraan. We'll talk to those guys in just a moment. Mark Poynton and Troy Stonestreet find themselves in the top 5 with Stephen Varga and Andrew Rushworth behind them. Ken Latta finishing in 8th, up 10 spots from where he started. Then Luke Allman, Jason Bentz up 11 spots into 10th. So the top 10 marked by some really strong drives from a couple of those guys there, and hats off to them for that. Craig Schulz finishes in 11th with Lorne McKee and Mick Clifton behind him. Chad Vigar and Jay McKnight, then Rick Vigar, Jason Douglas in 17th with Trav Daly and Jim Capronis, then Dean Logsdale rounding out your top 20. We'll take a look a little further back through the field, and Nick Geary, 21st, top of the Cup Trophy. Not a bad place to finish, just ahead of Abel Verban, nothing in it, less than half a second in the end. Then Ernie Toth, Brad Hayes, Andrew Listener and Glenn Boyce in rapid order beyond that. Ryan Palmer manages to sneak home 27th. Probably not what he deserved from that drive, but them's the breaks, Ryan. James Hardy and Scotty Perrins behind them with Jason Dunn and Troy Sipple, the first of the drivers to be more than a lap down here this evening. Vince Salvatore and Ash Hall behind them, then Craig Rose, David Logsdale, Mick Rudd and Andrew Hoffman. Damon Fisher, a long way out of the running tonight. I'm going to take a guess that there's been some kind of issue there with his connection, and that's what's actually forced him out of that one. Let's have a chat to a few of these drivers. It's been a hot minute since I can remember last speaking to our third place getter this evening. But Matt Vanderkraan, welcome on into the booth, my friend.
Who is this? Haven't spoken to you in a while.
Who is this, mate? Who is this? Matty, it's great to see you back on the podium. It's been far too long between drinks. A bit of a strategy play tonight, doing the goods for you.
Yeah, look, I wasn't being held up heaps, but just that little bit, and I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. I knew the tyres could do 15 laps, a stint without too much of an issue. They did get scratchy towards the end, so I thought, look, I'll give it a go, and yeah, it all come up trumps for me to put it on the bottom step of the podium.
Talk to me about Mosport. It's been, well, almost 12 months since we were last here in the Supercars. I honestly can't remember just how much love or not there was for this place last time around. How did you find it tonight?
I quite enjoy it. It's such a flow. It's throttle control. I reckon the only thing it doesn't have would be cool. There's no heavy braking zone.
No.
So like a lot of guys ask me, what's your bias on? I said, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
There's no brakes here. All gas, no brakes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit here, a little bit there. Don't get me wrong, but you're not braking hard from 280 k's to 60 into a hairpin. So, but no, it's good fun. It's got a great rhythm to it. If you're going to overtake someone, you need to set up a long way back and work your butt off to do it. Which worked out for me because I wasn't overtaking anyone, but I had Mark Poynton doing his best to get past and had a reasonable shot at one point.
Well, mate, it's all played out pretty nicely in the end and a relatively comfortable third place in race 2. Congratulations on the result. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to before we let you go, mate?
Yeah, I've got to say good day to the old man who'll be watching at home and have a big smile on his face. He watches every week and loves your boys' work. So g'day, Dad. There we go. I'm back on the podium.
Good to see you back there, Matty, and great to chat to you. It's been far too long, mate. Hopefully not the last time we get to speak to you this season, hey?
Yeah, good on you, Jared. Cheers, mate.
Matt Vanderkrona takes out third in a race number 2. Another name who, look, probably hasn't come to chat to us quite as often as he would have liked, but it's great to have him back in the booth again tonight. Jamie Dyke, second place in race 2. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mate, we were really hoping to see a bit of a strategy call and some undercuts play out for you there tonight, but Wayne just a little bit too quick once again, unfortunately.
I'll disagree. Other factors were at play that cost me race time, but all in all, me and Wayne have had some really good racing at Mosport lately, so I'm pretty happy with how I drove.
Yeah, well, look, mate, you're certainly putting in the lap here, and I know you always do put in a lot of practice laps in any given week. I'm talking about the lead up to this. Mosport's not an easy track to prep for, is it?
No, it's a pet track of mine, so I don't really prep.
I suppose, yeah, you don't prep for this one at all. I keep forgetting how much you love Mosport, mate.
Yeah, I get the setup. I know what I want out of it, and lately I did an official Sunday night with Wayne, and I got him in that one, and I'm over the moon. And it's just, it is what it is.
One of those nights tonight, mate. Look, you can't be too disappointed with a P2, all things considered. And really, I think the 2-second gap probably doesn't talk to just how close it was for so much of the race tonight. Great to watch you battle on throughout this evening, and some nice footage of you there, mate, when you do get to look back at the broadcast. So enjoy that. I know you always have a look at it afterwards. Anyone you want to say hello to, or indeed any sponsors you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, mate?
I'll give a shout out to Kenny, Coleman, Paulie, JT for his help today, Matty B. Big shout out to them, and I'll give a shout out to the QPR boys for getting Wayne the win.
Mate, great race. Shame you didn't get quite the result you'd hoped for, but a P2, nothing to sneeze at. We'll take a look at the championship standings in a sec, but some good points for you tonight, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Jamie Dyke takes out second in race number 2, which leaves only one man left for us to chat to, and of course it is defending champion Wayne Walker joins us in the booth once again. Wayne, Mosport was good to you once again this year.
Yeah, I really I like this track a lot. I don't know, I haven't gone the best here other times we've raced, but tonight, yeah, just strategy and everything sort of worked my way. There was a couple of back markers sort of slowed Jamie up a little bit and let me catch back up. So then, the second pit stop, I was able to jump him. But yeah, two wins. I can't ask for any more. That was an awesome night.
And you very nearly, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm just looking quickly now to make sure I'm not too far off the mark, but I think you just about matched your fastest lap there from last year in race number 2, just dipping into the 118. So certainly haven't lost any pace over the last 12 months. That's got to be a pretty nice little boost to know that you haven't lost your touch.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to match your times from the previous time at a track. I think in practice I actually did my quickest lap that I've ever done around this track. So
yeah, we did see that. You cut a good couple of tenths off it, mate.
Yeah, it was good. So I haven't raced a lot on this track, so I'm still, every time we race here, I'm still learning as well, like learning the track and how much brake to give it on certain corners and stuff like that. So it's good to find a little bit more pace.
Now, I've got to ask, you're saying that Mosport's one of your favourites, and Jamie telling us pretty much the same. He loves this place as well. It's a bit of a pet track for him. What is it about Mosport that appeals? Because it's everything on paper that a supercar driver should hate. It's a lot of flowing corners. It's a lot of work in the wheel. There's not a lot of heavy braking zones to get the passes done. What is it about the place that you love?
I think it's all the ups and downs. I sort of like the undulation, and then a lot of the corners like you have to trail brake a lot into. There's not really any straight braking zones, which I sort of like the corners that you have to sort of trail the brake a lot, and the undulation as well. That's just
it's just
good track to drive.
It's just good fun from a driver's perspective. That's what we'd like to hear. Wayne, awesome set of results for you tonight, mate. Congratulations. Before we let you go, as always, anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Yeah, just everyone who helps run the league, race control, you guys for the broadcast. You do an amazing job every week. The Jamie and Matt, on the podiums as well. All the other competitors. Without them, it's not possible. My team, Accelerate Sim Racing, all the guys there for all their help as well through the week, and our sponsors, Abbey Timber, Primal Wheels, Box and Lock Narang, and Modern Deck.
Great set of results, Wayne. We're going to take a look at the championship points, but really strengthening your defence of that number 1 on the side of the car, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Wayne Walker takes a very, very solid set of results from this evening. Isaac, I am starting to think that it's going to be harder and harder for anyone to catch him if he keeps this up. And the provisional points now, of course, a drop round to be recalculated after that, but extending that lead out to over 100 points now, Wayne Walker finds himself very solidly atop the championship standings with Mark Point and Matt Vanderkraan in hot pursuit. It's going to be tough to track him down, isn't it?
It certainly is, and I think that's just showing why he has the number 1 on the door week in, week out. He's providing great performances, driving brilliantly tonight. He was almost untouchable for that first race, and then in the second race he worked really hard to pull off a really good strategy to get past Jamie Dyke. And as Jamie Dyke said, he probably felt a little bit hard done by a couple of things that were happening on track that caused him to get held up slightly. But that'll be subjective. I'm sure that'll be brought towards the stewards. If there's anything major there, they'll do something about it. But it's just again a great performance for the man that has the number 1 on the door, showing why it's there and why he should continue to have it. But there's still a long way to go in this season. We've still got 6 rounds left before the end. Plenty of points on offer, so there is an opportunity for anyone out there to gain some points, put on a good result, catch up. 100 points may seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, with how many rounds there are left, it's a gap that can close relatively quickly if you have a bad round or two.
Absolutely can, and there's still plenty to go. We'll be back next week with more of the Alliance Sim Racing Solar Guard Supercar Championship. We're heading to Silverstone, which is it's one of those iconic tracks, really, isn't it? It's an absolute beauty, and I can't remember the last time I've seen supercars get around that, so that'll be a very, very interesting one next week. And of course, if you enjoyed seeing the supercars getting around Catalonia last week with ASR, stay tuned tomorrow night at Simple. We'll be back with the MT Motorsport Easy Moto Spares GT3 Championship heading to Catalonia tomorrow night. So do make sure you don't miss out on any of that. But whenever you do join us again, until we see you next time, do look after yourselves. From everyone here at Simple Racing Broadcast, on behalf of Isaac Fogarty, my name's Jared Cole. It's been a pleasure to have you along with us. It is goodbye for now.